Education, Creativity, and the Future of Grades. Hey girl, did you get your grade back on your history final exam? Yeah, I got a B. That ought to make Mom happy. I'm glad I passed. Now I can forget about that unit. I hated it. Most of us have participated in a conversation that goes something like this. And all of us, I'm sure, have heard a conversation. This is where our education system has gone wrong. We have trained students from an early age that grades are what counts, not the amount of energy or time they should put into a subject, not where the subject could lead them in life or how it could help them out down the road. We have taught students that it's the grade. You have to get the grade to pass. You have to get the grade to be successful. This is Ken Robinson. He fears that the education system has driven creativity out of our schools, out of our young children, and out of our adults. Most of us have been in a band class, danced in gym, been participated in either an elementary school play or even a high school play, or taken an art class through school, or participated in a chorus class. However, while these classes are in most schools, they are not in all, and if they are in schools, they are usually the first to be cut if a budget is low on school spending. These are many of the classrooms where children are actually taught that it is okay to express themselves, where there isn't a right or wrong answer. Most of us have seen these tests. If you grew up in New York State tests, you probably saw them as early as 3rd or 4th grade. These tests are written in a way that there is either a right or wrong answer and there is no in between. There's no way to express why you chose your answer. Ken Robinson says, if one is not prepared to be wrong, one can never come up with anything original. I believe by this he means that if a student is too afraid to be wrong, if they are taught that wrong is going to fail you, then they will never think outside the box and they could never come up with something original. The fear of being wrong puts an end to creativity. Grades create a stigma in our schools. An A, you're okay. Anything below a C, you failed, you're not passing, you're not doing well. And students are being taught that it's the grades that matter, not why they got the grade or how to improve, but the grades that matter. It's the grades that have decided their course in life. RSA Animate Drive, the surprising truth about what motivates us by Dan Pink and the RSA.org has found that adults in the workforce, and this can be applied to students, that on mediocre tasks they can perform well. So in schools, having students look up stuff in their textbook and write down straight from the textbook, they can perform well on that. But if it requires critical thinking and some creativity, then to be motivated, they have to be free to think. They have to be interested. However, on the mediocre activities, they'll do very well with motivative things such as giving money for how well you do or getting a high grade. But on the other tasks, on critical thinking tasks, they're not going to perform any better if a grade is their motivation. They'll try harder, but it is not going to help them to do better. Pass with hard work, it's a nice idea, but that pass needs to be changed to learning. Learn with hard work. Learning takes a lot of work. It takes time and it takes drive to want to learn. And you can pass without doing hard work. You can pass with cheating. You can pass with um, with studying and then forgetting the stuff. But you cannot learn just because you passed. School plus grades, can they equal happy, thoughtful children and adults with who still have their creativity? I believe grades can still exist in schools and will always exist in schools because we are a capitalist society. We are focused on measuring how well something is done, how fast something is done, and at what level it was done. And this is in our schools. It's seen in our schools through how we grade. The one answer fits all tests, the even the essays that are written, many teachers give them expected with a question that is very directed already. So they're already expecting a certain answer. And then they're grading you on how well it was written. However, I do think that we can change how we do the grading. We don't need to direct those essays. We don't need the tests that are one answer fits all. We should focus on teaching our students from a very young age that grades matter, yes, but not as much as how much energy you put into your work, how much time you spent, how much you cared about what you did and how you did it. Creativity cannot be driven out of the schools. It is being driven out by the tests, but we need to bring it back in. We need to bring it back in. Students need to be able to think critically and creatively. Those two things go hand in hand, and that's what's going to get them further in the real world, in the world of employment, in the job market. That's what's going to get them through, because in the job market they are not given grades and they are not always directed. And I think schools can do this. They need to focus more on commenting on papers rather than just the grade, expressing how students can do better rather than here's your grade. Thank you.